and the RBI which came today, and the more issues which will come in as time goes on, we are extremely confident that we will move forward. So we have more than 1900 people today.
हम लोग आगे आवाज आने लगी, and I'm also.
Satish Bhai, you've gone on mute.
I don't know, somebody is doing it.
Now you're fine.
So we are just, we have been very particular about who will come on the call. So we have gone up to the city level presidents and their office bearers. So we have left it very limited to just 2000 odd people, where we want to hear your views, and we have a set question answers which we feel we can take forward. Sir, so we want to work hand in hand to see to it that this industry comes out of all these problems which we're going through. And we also on our own have been doing a lot of things. We're looking after the labor. We're trying to keep our staff together, keeping our customers together, keeping everyone happy. I think more than 70-75 crore rupees we have already spent in these market conditions on the various activities which we're undertaking, and much more is in the pipeline. So I would hand over to Gidambar to start with the proceedings, and then the Honorable Minister could speak.
So on behalf of FICCI and CREDAI, sir, I welcome you to this webinar, and we are all looking forward to hear from you. Those of you who work with sir know what a proactive, what a open person as a minister Mr. Puri is, and it's for all stakeholders, whether it's the buyers or it's the bankers or the real estate developers or even the sanctioning, the government authority. Everybody is welcome to. He's very accessible to all, and he's a man who actually looks for solutions, and he says, bring me your problems, we'll find a solution. He's been instrumental in finding a solution to the Amrapali problem, instrumental in forming the distressed asset fund with SBI caps. And sir, we actually look forward to hearing from you. I also want to welcome Mr. D.S. Mishra, the Secretary of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, who's played a very, very aggressive and very productive role in the PMAY scheme, as well as the Global Housing Technology Challenge scheme. Mishra ji himself he works very hard, and we've seen him when he decides to do something, he takes it upon himself and he sees it to its logical conclusion. Very, very warm welcome to you, Mishra ji, in case I don't see you here, but I hope you're here. Sir, actually, the webinar is more because you see, you are our parent ministry, and today in industry and amongst all stakeholders, there is a sense of uncertainty. There is a sense of, I won't call it gloom really, but there's a sense of, some sort of a negativity, which we have to remove, sir. We all know, and you've said it in so many forums, that real estate and construction are the single largest employers. We employ something close to 6 crore Indians. So this has to go, sir, because in these times, considering what other industries need as a relief package, be it aviation or be it hospitality, be it power, I think real estate needs much lesser, but it needs a strong support. It needs a strong assurance from our parent ministry that you are with us. We needn't worry. We needn't fret, no matter where we have to knock. And all, when I say we, I mean all stakeholders, including our buyers, including our bankers, including the sanctioning authorities, all of us, and of course the developers. When I say we, it's all of us together. We need this positivity, this assurance, this confidence from you that things will come out of this together, we'll emerge out of this together, and together we will provide much more employment, much more opportunities to the manufacturing sector. It's just the small time, this short period where we need to have a positive attitude, and we look forward to hearing from you to make us feel better and more positive about the future. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me start by welcoming all of you. I want to thank you, Gidambar, for taking this initiative. I want to thank CREDAI and FICCI and not only all of you who are present in this video conference, but also your larger membership. Personally, I'm aware of the efforts which you have made, many of you have made individually, which you have made collectively, to addressing various matters which are a fallout from the current crisis. Looking after your labor, feeding people who are without a job. And I think the contribution cannot be measured in terms of the amount of money that has been paid into PM CARES Fund or otherwise. Many of you have offered your properties which are not fully handed over yet as quarantine facilities. So I'm not going to spend time on that. I actually have a different idea about this. Let me share with you for just 2 or 3 minutes what I see as the major challenge. I have also the privilege of being a member of the group of ministers to deal with the virus. Then, of course, I have responsibility for this ministry, Housing and Urban Affairs, which is your parent ministry in a sense, and civil aviation. But I also am involved with Piyush ji in the commerce and industry side. So let me just share with you an overall assessment of what the challenge is, where we are, and why I personally believe we will come out of this not only stronger, but much stronger. But of course, we have to all play a part in that. First and foremost, if you look at the global picture, with a population of 1.3 plus billion people, if you look at the total number of cases that we have, the number of people who have recovered, the number of fatalities, etc., I think we can draw some satisfaction that largely as a result of the very timely action that the Honorable Prime Minister took and the preventive measures we took, we are facing challenges, but we are not reeling. I mean, in the sense that both our healthcare system, the other steps, of course, there are variations within the country. Mumbai is a cause of worry. Some parts of Delhi are a cause for worry, some other parts. But in overall terms, I think we are at the cusp. And I think the period of the extended lockdown and the measures which are being taken and the simultaneous calibrated reopening of economic activities should see us through this. My personal view is that the measures that have been announced by the government in the first phase, the liquidity boosting measures announced by the governor of the Reserve Bank today, you've all seen his address. I'm not going to repeat that. Some additional measures which will be forthcoming, I'm sure, as part of a package, a second part of the package. These will all give the sector the confidence which is required. But we have to also look for local solutions. I mean, what is done overall, I think, in terms of the liquidity coverage ratio, what they have done in terms of the NBFC loans to commercial real estate projects. I'm not going to go into those details. My sense is that from now on, you see, it may have been somewhat premature to have this meeting earlier. We could have had a discussion, but with the resumption of economic activity from the 20th, with construction being a major area where those of you who have projects which have labor in the close vicinity or proximity, you're starting operations, other issues, the free movement of goods, trucks moving. I've seen interviews given by some of you. I think we need to also utilize this sector to build confidence in our people overall. And therefore, what I propose to do is that I want to listen to what your different office bearers are going to say, the chair, the president, vice president, the, what you want to say, others, and have an open, free and free-flowing and interactive discussion in which secretary will join me, other senior officers of the ministry will participate. Let me just share with you 2 or 3 things. One is that the importance of the sector per se is not affected or undermined by the virus. I mean, as long as we have a country of our size, the need for construction, the need for housing, the sector being a critical driver of economic growth, that goes without saying. I think the challenge is to work out an ecosystem during this time. The sector was already challenged, and we have interacted on that. But today, a new challenge has become. So how do we address that and overcome those additional challenges? And I think that is something that the government is acutely conscious of. Any suggestion I am familiar with, which comes from CREDAI or Naredco or other well-meaning people, even those who are not tied with us, you know, I think in the ministry, senior management, the secretary and his senior colleagues, me, we are receptive to those. We look for ideas and we will continue to do that. So the purpose of this discussion today is not to have a one-time standalone discussion, but to reopen a dialogue which we already had. But because we are living in extraordinary times, instead of all of you flying in from Mumbai or other parts of the country in the morning, meeting me at noon and meeting the secretary and flying back, I think we have a more efficient way in some respects of utilizing our time efficiently and meeting through this medium. Because our discussions are with public figures, I'm not worried about the security dimension about using this platform. I know there are, guidelines from the Home Ministry. In some of my other work, I am a little more reluctant to use it. But let me stop here, tell you, government is with you all the way in meeting these challenges, which does not mean that we have a magic solution, but within the resources available, I think the political will is there to try and ease your situation, both in terms of resources coming from banks, in terms of your other points of interaction with the system. And you will find that, Gitambar was saying nice things about the ministry's functioning, solutions, and secretary being proactive. That will continue, in fact, with greater vigor. So let me stop here. Let me listen to what you all are saying. And then as we go along, we will respond in an interactive mode. Thank you very much.
So we'll start with the question and answer session. So like you said, so we've got two sterling organizations here, both CREDAI and FICCI. I'll ask Chairman CREDAI, Jakshay Shah, to ask Sir the first question. Jakshay, please. Jakshay, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Adam, can you please unmute?
Yeah. It is okay now.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you so much for being with us, sir, in this critical moment. I welcome you, sir, Secretary, sir, Meena, sir, on behalf of more than 200 city chapters. We are with you, sir. मैं आपको उनकी तरफ से 24 स्टेट चैप्टर 200 सिटी चैप्टर से आपको मैं एक प्लेस देना चाहता हूं कि हम आपके साथ हैं और हम मिनिस्ट्री के साथ रह के एक न्यू इंडिया रीबिल्ड करेंगे। सर आपको पता है 7 करोड़ फैमिली, 35 करोड़ पीपल ऑन 300 इंडस्ट्रीज डिपेंड अपॉन दिस इंडस्ट्री। और आपने सही बताया कि वी आर फर्स्ट टाइम वी आर फीलिंग प्राउड एज इंडियन and India is putting narrative in the world in terms of the health, hygiene, and this all, how to come out of the crisis. And senior minister like you and you are a parent ministry, you are heading us. Sir, तीन चीज जो because government, प्रधानमंत्री जी बोल रहे हैं जहान है तो जहान है, we are with them. It is a survival mode. Second thing is revival and then sustainability. Of course, survival that we have to keep on for next at least 2 or 3 months, but same time we have to think of our laborers, our customer, our industry. 2-3 जो चीजें हैं जो हमारी पिछले कई महीनों से सेक्रेटरी साहब से भी जो बहुत एक्टिव हैं उनके भी काफी लगातार चर्चा होती रही है। जैसे सबवेंशन स्कीम सर अचानक जो रुक दी गई थी बिकॉज ऑफ ये एनएचबी से हुआ था। हम जो आपको 2 चीज बताना चाहते हैं, नॉन फिस्कल एंड फिस्कल, लेकिन जो 2-3 चीजें हैं जो गवर्नमेंट does not have to put their hand in the packet or their pocket. सर सबवेंशन स्कीम जल्दी से जल्दी शुरू हो जानी चाहिए दूसरा सर 45 लाख का जो लिमिट जो पहले भी था, हमने पहले से बोला था उसका लिमिट कम से कम 75 लाख 90 लाख तक होना चाहिए। तो अभी वो एक डिमांड किक स्टार्ट हो जाएगा। ये दो मेरी डिमांड आगे आई हैव some my friends will also tell other questions, लेकिन ये दो इमीडिएट जो जंप स्टार्ट अगर हमको इकोनॉमी करनी है, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द रेरा एंड स्टैम्प ड्यूटी, वो सब चीजें हैं। और आरबीआई ने आज काफी थोड़ा और कुछ रिलैक्स किया है, लेकिन सर सबवेंशन स्कीम और जो 45 लाख का जो कैप है सर, वो इमीडिएटली उनको सर लागू करना पड़ेगा। 45 लाख का कैप मिनिमम 75 to 80 लाख करना पड़ेगा सर। ओवर टू यू सर।
I'm sorry, I was taking another call from Civil Aviation Secretary, so
Sir,
I probably didn't hear the full thing because in between I
repeat in.
No, don't worry. Let Secretary answer. Durga ji, आप जरा जवाब दीजिए. I will come in on 1 or 2 points there. Hello.
जी सर।
साहब एक बार फिर से रिपीट करें तो।
सर दो चीज थी। एक तो सबवेंशन
आपको मैं आपको पहला चीज आपने कहा कि 45 लाख से बढ़ा के इसको 70 लाख करने के लिए यू अंडरस्टैंड वी हैव बीन पुशिंग विद द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस। अभी हाल में भी मेरी फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री में बात हुई है कि इसको सारे डेफिनेशन जो है, चाहे आरबीआई का हो, चाहे जीएसटी का हो, चाहे उसको एफडीआई पर्पज से जो और हमारे टैक्स पर्पज से, इनकम टैक्स के पर्पज से, ये सारे डेफिनेशन को एक साथ इंटीग्रेट कर दें। इस पे हमारी फाइनेंस से बात है और इंटीग्रेट करके एक डिस्टिंक्शन जो है नॉन मेट्रो एंड मेट्रो का कर दिया जाए। सारे के सारे 45 लाख सबको बराबर करना ठीक नहीं है। वी हैव बीन पुशिंग विद देम एंड आई एम श्योर बहुत जल्दी हो जाना चाहिए, बट इसका डायरेक्टली आज के इससे कोई संबंध नहीं होना चाहिए।
नहीं सर,
आज के डिस्कशन से संबंध नहीं।
आप तीनों स्टालवर्ड्स हमारे काफी रोकने के बाद भी 2000 लोग अगर हमने छोड़ दिया तो
पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट यू अंडरस्टैंड इट टेक्स सम टाइम।
नोटेड सर। दूसरी बात सर सबवेंशन स्कीम सर,
इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन वाला जो बात थी आपको, उसमें डीएफएस हैड सर्टेन रिजर्वेशन, डीएफएस को सर्टेन रिजर्वेशन थे। उन्होंने कुछ क्लैरिफिकेशन मांगा था जिसको वो एनएसपी ने, नेशनल हाउसिंग बैंक ने जो बीच में इसको चेंज किया था, उनके रिजर्वेशन थे। आपको मालूम है कि इंडस्ट्री में कुछ फाउल प्रैक्टिसेस भी होती है और उस फाउल प्रैक्टिसेस की वजह से कुछ नेगेटिव रिपोर्ट्स आ गई थी। उन चीजों को क्लैरिफाई हो रहा था। वी आर अगेन पुशिंग विद दिस बिकॉज not only now but we have been pushing for the long time and I'm sure some result will come through there. Yeah,
thank you so much sir. Over to you Gitam
sir. Thank you very much. I just wanted to come back on the basic question. You know, the choice between Jaan and Jahan, between life and livelihood, you need to strike a balance. I think our focus today and in the next few weeks and months should be on how we survive this phase. Insofar as the proposals which you have made, as Secretary pointed out, whether it is at 45 lakhs plus or credit linked interest subvention, we have been all supporting that. But I would recommend that some of these issues which are part of our larger thing, today may not be the time to concentrate on that. We will go on reiterating. I want to assure you, we will go to the finance ministry as we have been doing, and we will try and resolve these as we have been doing all along. But today we should look at those measures which we require for immediate, transiting through this challenging phase.
So this is for point well noted, sir. This is for the demand creation for the customer only, not for us.
Fair enough.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and as always for understanding. I would now request the chairman of the FICCI Real Estate Committee, Sanjay Dutt, to ask his question to sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Gitambar. Sir, very pointed question. 1 lakh crore of unsold ready-to-move and inventory of residential apartments is lying unsold. If we make a slight change in foreign direct investment policy, where FDI is not allowed in buying ready-to-move inventory for a period of 2-3 years, 1 lakh crore, which is stuck in inventory, will get released. And in addition to distress funds, where the government has taken a good initiative, and I think things are working there, This will provide liquidity to developers and they will be able to finish other projects and pay the NBFC and banks. So that is request one. So, second, there are some impediments in doing a development, from environment approval to all the other aspects. Some expeditive process can be considered. We're not asking for any benefit here. We just want the construction cycle to reduce. Third, sir, if the commercial projects can be given a infrastructure status, the provisioning for the banks, it will help reduce the cost of borrowing. I want to share with the minister that last year, India recorded the highest leasing in India, 47 million square feet net absorption, which unfortunately this year will be disturbed. But sir, if we have jobs, I know residential will bounce. So if you give infrastructure status to the office, this will be very helpful.
Well, let me respond straight away. Insofar as allowing foreign direct investment into projects which are at a near stage of completion, please send us a note and I'd be happy to look at it, and I'll be happy to, after discussion with Secretary, take this up with the Finance Ministry. I personally think it makes a lot of sense, because as long as these projects are ready or almost near ready, and if a tweaking of the FDI rules allows this money to come in, I think that will help in clearing the inventory, etc., without any disadvantage. At least I can't see any disadvantage now. Insofar as the other two issues are concerned, one is, some of the approvals which are required, streamlining. I'm not clear exactly what it is, but I request Secretary, maybe he's more familiar with it. And again, infrastructure status to some of these commercial projects, I'll request Secretary to respond, and then I'll come in.
Thank you, sir. Sabse pehle, regarding this reducing the total construction cycle, you are aware this online building permission system is not only it is made completely operational in Delhi and Mumbai, but more than 2,500 cities across the country. Online building permission system is completely like every permission is given online. It is a seamless integration of all the agencies. Only for the environment clearance, you are aware that also it was sought, but because the NGT stayed our the step which was taken by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, that was stayed. We have gone to the Supreme Court. We came out with another formulation that has been stayed by the High Court of Delhi. We are again fighting that case with the High Court of Delhi. So that, as far as this environment clearance is concerned, that is the only item which is causing some delay. All other things are already addressed very completely. I'm sure you are fully aware of it. The second aspect is regarding giving infrastructure status to the commercial properties. Infrastructure status has been given to the affordable housing. So far, the infrastructure status has already been given to the affordable housing with the, the ministry has been focusing on promoting infrastructure housing, this affordable housing. So as far as these commercial projects are concerned, we have still not considered it, and maybe if there is some specific proposal, we'll examine it. As regards the third thing, REIT was something which was announced by the Honorable Finance Minister. And I think if you go through the REIT, maybe such properties can mobilize a lot of money from that.
So, sir, just to elaborate on Sanjay's suggestion, because with the COVID situation, getting your map sanction, fire NOC, lift NOC.
Okay, Gitambar Saab, I understand. Now the question is different.
Yeah.
In my last interaction,
just clarify.
Okay. Let me just explain that.
Let
last interaction with the NAREDCO members.
Sanjay, just let sir explain, then you can step in again.
In my last interaction with the NAREDCO members, demand was, some of the members demanded that some permission which has already been granted and that is coming to an end, can that be extended? We asked for a specific proposal from them. Proposal I have received just today. That too is not complete. We are going to consider that. and we'll take up with all concerned ministries and the state government, how should the such approvals which are already there that could be extended in view of the COVID-19. We will do that. We'll do that.
Also, if it's a direction could go, जैसे किसी ने completion apply किया आज की date में, या fire के लिए.
बिल्कुल साहब है, बिल्कुल इसका जो time जो है, जहां तक completion apply किया है, जहां तक नक्शा पास करने के apply किया है, ये सारी चीजें online हो रही हैं. लेकिन जो already हो चुका है और उसको extension करना है, वो हम लोग automatic suo motu allow करा देंगे. We will examine this. We are going to examine this. आपका अगर कोई, आपका गीतांबर साहब, आपका या जगसी साहब का कोई specific proposal हो, I will request you kindly send it to me, because we have received one from NAREDCO. As I said, it is not complete, it is incomplete. We are going to examine that and we'll take a view very soon. Yeah.
Done, sir. Sanjay, you had something else to say?
No, I'm done. Okay. There are some other colleagues of mine who will ask some questions.
We'll come to them. So now I'll request our CREDAI National President, Mr. Satish Maggar, to ask his question from sir.
Sir, we have now successfully fought the survival mode, and I feel we are moving towards the revival mode since the 20th of this month or 3rd of whatever date comes for some badly hit areas like ours. So the RBI is giving a lot of incentives. The finance ministry is talking of a lot of incentives. A lot of liquidity flow has come to the market. But unfortunately, what is happening is the banks are not passing this to the customer. The customer should be benefited, because if the customer gets lower rate of interest to buy units, the customer gets more incentives to buy the unit, then only this whole process of revival will start faster. That is my first submission to you, sir. The second is cartelization, which has started happening. We are already started getting letters from cement manufacturers, from steel manufacturers, saying that post-COVID, once the work starts, the rates are going to go up. When there's an international slowdown, we just fail to understand why the rates are going to go up. But they are writing to us as of now. So these are the two submissions which will actually help, because the jump starting the requirement, the consumption is going to be the first thing, and economization is going to be the second thing, because we need to give cheaper houses to people post the COVID-19 issues.
Unmute. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir. Well, I love your characterization of moving from survival to revival mode. I like that. You see, insofar as the RBI putting more liquidity into the market, on that is already clear. You saw the RBI governor's announcement this morning. Why banks are not passing this on to the customer, would request secretary to take this up with I suspect this is not confined to the construction and housing sector only. I mean, there was a general reluctance in the bank, but we'll see how we can step in and help you out. On the issue of cement manufacturers and steel manufacturers adopting a cartelization approach, it's not making any sense to me, because overall economic activity is down. There should be a surplus of cement and steel in the market. How can you adopt a cartel? This is clearly an unfair trading practice. But what I will do is, on the Commerce Ministry side, because I'm also involved there, I've got one of my colleagues from the Commerce Ministry sitting here. I will speak to the concerned officer and we'll come back to you on this. But since I have the floor, I want to go back to an earlier question. You see, there was this issue of foreign direct investment in nearly finished projects. You see, the whole idea of foreign direct investment was in terms of money coming in projects. Now, I hope by this tweaking which is being sought, that's why I'm coming back. Please, when you send us a proposal, let's be clear what exactly is being sought. Any individual who's an NRI can buy a property. I don't see any difficulty in that. Through normal banking means you can transfer money. If on the other hand, so is FDI being sought on a project which is nearly completed, etc. Right. Please give us some clarity so that when we discuss this with the Finance Ministry, we are also clear as to what the demand is. But insofar as this cartelization, you know, I don't know who has sent you this letter. But if you can send me a copy of the letter that you have received, because
So I'll do it, sir.
send it to me. There's
Yes, sir.
Rasal Dwivedi, who's my colleague in the Commerce Ministry, who works with me. He's here. Just send me the letter. I'll try and understand. We'll speak to them informally. But
Yes,
I'm
sir.
ready to sit down with the cement and steel manufacturers and try and get a better understanding, because this makes no sense to me that at a time
Appreciate
like this, rates should be going up. In fact, the rate should be going down.
Down,
not
yes,
up.
sir. Yes, sir.
So just to clarify on the FDI, it is to allow institutions to invest in projects which are nearly complete, which have unsold inventory as an institution, and then they can sell it as and when they like, because maybe the customers today are not very confident of buying into a project. So if an FDI, an institution, a foreign institution with the investment wants to buy unsold inventory or near ready inventory, then they should be allowed. That is the ask, sir. So
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes total sense, because then it's an institution. It's not an
Institution.
individual, etc. It's an
No.
institution. That's okay. Fine. Send us a proposal. We'll look at it. Yeah.
So, and in the same spirit with Mr. Maggar said that rates, home loan rate cuts are not being passed on by banks to the customer. There was a suggestion, can we, sir, extend the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana benefits under CLSS not to just one first house per family, but to all first-time home buyers, subject to the fact that they satisfy the income criteria, because the government has so many employees who have a secure job. It's not so in the private sector so much with the COVID situation. So if we can have something like that, where you are allowed to buy the first home, if you buy, whether is the third home in the family, it should still allow that buyer to avail the CLSS under PMAY. There was a suggestion to that would kickstart quite a lot of our sales, sir.
I have serious doubts on that. I have serious doubts on that. You know, the whole Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which has 4 verticals, those verticals, all 4, whether it's AHP, CLSS, beneficiary-led consultation, construction, or in situ slum rehabilitation, it is based on the philosophy of house per family. Now, if you go into credit-linked subsidy, interest subvention being available for 2, you're already departing from that. I don't see it's a good idea, because you know, under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, if you look at our overall numbers, I mean, we had a demand assessment of 1 crore plus. We have already completed that. So let's stick to that, But you can ask Secretary. My own feeling is that restarting CLSS is a good idea, but to expand CLSS for a second home, I don't think that's a good idea.
First home, sir, जैसे किसी का family home बिहार में है, वो दिल्ली आता है काम करने के लिए, and he settles down in Delhi, the son or maybe the daughter, then it's a first home for them here, for the daughter, but not for the family. The family home is in Bihar somewhere, or maybe in UP somewhere. That is the idea, sir.
No, the idea, but let's look at it. But again, I'd like Secretary to focus on that.
गीतांबर साहब, ऐसा है कि पहला तो मुझे ये लग रहा है कि ये कंफ्यूजन है क्यों, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना में एवरी फैमिली, अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि कोई आदमी यहाँ पे आकर के दिल्ली में काम कर रहा है और उसका वहां पे परिवार जो उसके जो बड़ी फैमिली है गांव में रह रही है, तो बड़ी फैमिली जो गांव में रह रही है उन लोगों के उसके पेरेंट्स के मकान होंगे वो, और ये मकान दिल्ली में आ रहा अपने लिए ले रहा वो क्योंकि यहाँ पे सेटल कर रहा है। इसमें कहीं रोक टोक तो नहीं लगती मुझे, प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना में रोक नहीं है। एक आदमी 2 मकान नहीं ले सकता है, अगर उसका मकान गांव में भी उसी के नाम पे और शहर में भी, तो 2 मकान नहीं ले सकता। लेकिन अगर वो आदमी जो है उसका मकान गांव पे उसके परिवार के नाम से, उसकी फैमिली के नाम से, तो यहाँ मकान ले सकता है। नंबर 1। नंबर 2, आपने कहा गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज के बारे में। गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज का आपको ख्याल होगा 2017 में गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज का ऑलरेडी काफी ज्यादा अमाउंट, उनका लोन का अमाउंट बढ़ा दिया गया था। 25 लाख रुपए तक ले सकते हैं, 1.25 करोड़ रुपए तक का मकान वो खरीद सकते हैं, बैंक से लोन ले सकते हैं। ये सब तमाम सारे कंडीशंस ऑलरेडी चेंज कर दिए गए थे। प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना में ऑलरेडी करीब 10 लाख लोगों को सीएलएसए स्कीम में फायदा मिल चुका है, जिसमें एमआईजी स्कीम में करीब 3,40,000 के आसपास लोगों को फायदा मिल चुका है। तो इतनी तेजी से ये चीज हो रहा है, मुझे नहीं लगता इसमें किसी प्रकार की चेंज करने की आवश्यकता है।
ठीक। I would request Raj Menda, the co-chairman of the FICCI Real Estate Committee, to ask his question. He's also chairman of RMZ Corporation. Raj, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. I think we had given a request letter to the Honorable Minister for regarding the IT parks, which are now going to come under pressure because all our multinational tenants, once they start, they start settling in, they will ask for some reduction in rent from us. And we'll have to work along with them because there's a cost saving which to be done right across as far as the multinational clients are concerned. For this, we have two suggestions. One which is not financial but will benefit the country. The request is whether there can be an amendment through your good offices made in the FEMA Act, where all contracts made with multinational companies which are outsourcing the work in India, those contracts should be in foreign currency contracts, so that it will bring in valuable foreign currency as for the government is concerned into the country to pay rent and services on the project, so that the additional inflow of foreign currency can come from these multinationals. And secondly, an amendment to be made in the ECB regulation that the developers can use that foreign currency which has been brought in as and get an ECB loan, which will be cheaper because the inflows are coming in foreign currency. That will help the cost of the project to get a little cheaper, and that is one of the suggestions. The other suggestion, sir, is regarding the GST. As you know, 95% of the multinational clients are taking the office spaces only on lease, and they are not buying them. And since our developers are creating these projects only to give it to them on lease, the request is from the GST side, the GST which we are paying on the input side, and also we are collecting GST from the clients, but we are not allowed to set it off on the input for construction of those projects. The request is, sir, with your help, if the GST can be set off from the lease that is collected on the construction amount we have paid, it will help to again reduce the cost, and we can help to transfer it to our clients going forward, because they are going to come and ask us to reduce the cost on our rent, and this is the only way I think we can help, sir. Thank you.
Well, all three of your points, the amendment to FEMA, the amendment to the ECB, and adjustment of GST on space which developers are creating for the MNCs, which is given. All these, if you allow me to say so, are not current context related. I mean, these are not situations which are particular because of the COVID, but we are happy to look at it. Send me the proposals. One, you said you already sent me the FEMA one. I don't recall having seen the GST one, but we'll certainly look at it in the coming weeks. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So another demand one of the attendees of the webinar has very pertinently raised. You were kind enough, government was kind enough to give infrastructure status to affordable housing, where 50% of the housing was below 60 square meters, and that qualified as an infrastructure project. Unfortunately, the banks have no direction from RBI to provide cheaper capital to such projects. And so you've also made various requests to the finance ministry, but nothing seems to have done on that front. And we are still not having the banks give us cheaper capital for such projects. Can something be done there, sir?
Yeah, no, certainly. I think there are two issues involved. Insofar as affordable housing and infrastructure status, even that 60 square meter stipulation was raised.
Yes.
I think when we included middle income group, we took it up to 90 square meters and 120 square meters, I think correctly. Is that correct, Shashi?
That was for PMAY, sir.
PMAY. Okay,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. So which is
ATIB, sorry. ATIB and PMAY, both.
Okay. For affordable house. Okay. No. Okay. So for affordable, the status of industry. Yeah. Yeah. No. So no, I understand. So what I'm saying is that we can go to the finance ministry and raise this up. But you see, again, in this comment of yours or this question, the same issue is, once something is accepted, whether the banks are stepping forward and providing concessional capital or not, or providing loans, that is something which we need to address separately.
Absolutely. That's the ask.
But let Secretary comment on this. Let Secretary comment on this.
In fact, sir, RBI has already allowed this because of this infrastructure status given to the affordable housing sector. They are allowing loan they are giving from the money which is available as a backlog to the priority sector lending, loan at a much cheaper rate to the such affordable housing projects. There's already is already provided there, but we'll also look into them. Some specific issues are there. We are very much aware that the RBI has allowed this, that those projects which are of infrastructure, for them there is a fund created as it is a National Affordable Housing Fund, which was created by Finance Minister's announcement in 2018 budget.
That's
and
right.
the last year, 18-19, there was a provision of 10,000 crore. All that 10,000 crore has been 100% used. Now again, this year there is a provision for 10,000 crore for that fund. Yeah.
So
But if there is any specific issue, kindly bring it to my notice. We'll
we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
No,
Mr.
I think all that needs to be done is if RBI has accepted it and the banks are not pushing, we should request the Department of Financial Services, and we will do that. We will issue a letter straight away in the next 2 or 3 days, and then we can, Secretary can depute one of his senior officers, at additional secretary or joint secretary level to follow it up at DFS. I don't think it's anything more than that.
That's right. That's right.
Taken a view, RBI has accepted it. It's only a question of the instruction or the signal going down to the banks so that they comply with government's policy. That's all.
Bang on, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely right, sir. I would now request Mr. Irfan Rizak, the co-chair of Fiki Real Estate and also the chairman of Prestige Estates, to ask his question. Irfan, please.
If you allow me, Gitambar Saab.
Sir, Mr.
3:30, I have to go. We have to go. Both Honorable Minister as well as I have to go for another webinar with the NAREDCO members.
Sir.
Can I make some points? If you allow me, I can make some
Sir,
points.
we just have 2-3 question और हैं, then we can just, because अभी तो it's 3:10, as you say, otherwise जैसे आप कहेंगे.
चलिए ठीक है, इसके बाद मैं कुछ एक पॉइंट्स आपसे बात करना चाहूंगा.
जरूर.
In the context of the COVID. Yeah, please.
ठीक है.
Yeah, अपना क्वेश्चन बताइए.
Irfan, please.
Thank you, Gitambar. First of all, sir, we are very, very grateful for you to having taken this time out, listening to our points patiently, answering us, and you're also equally concerned how we can kickstart the economy, kickstart the employment and the labor that we do. And we are all looking forward for the 20th, where construction work, at least in situ, can start. Now, while all this is going on, we are quite, we know that we have challenges. We know we have problems. My friends have posed many questions, so I don't want to repeat any of those questions. I think they've covered most of the things, but there are 2 things, if only 2 things can be done. And if these 2 things can be done, I know that you will have to push for these 2 things. And both, one is related to the finance ministry and the other is related to the RBI. The first thing is our developers are at the moment leveraged, are in debt, and there is a bit of stress. Now, with the collection stopping, sales stopping, they will be still further in trouble. And now this trouble is going to be a large trouble, as even things when they open out on May 3rd, they will not have the liquidity to pay the bills, to pay the contractors, to complete the projects. Unless and until one-time total restructuring of all the loans of developers is done for at least a year, a sort of restructuring is done, where all the repayments and interest payments can get pushed back by a year. If that relief can be given, it will provide the required oxygen, the required money in the system for them to get back onto their feet, get their act together, and start the industry and kickstart the industry once again. And the other thing, sir, while we are grappling for all of this, we are also trying to somehow or the other reduce our construction costs. Now, our construction cost is nothing else but land, labor, and materials. Now, unfortunately, about a year ago, there was an amendment in the GST Act, where the GST was reduced for the consumer at 5% and the input credit was taken away. Now, with this input credit taken away, it actually, what it has done is in one stroke, it has increased our cost of the product by 18%, not less than 18%, but actually 18%. Now, this, what is happening is increasing the cost of the product. And in a market like this, it will become that much more difficult for us to sell our product. So if that input credit can be given, and if the 1 year deferment of all loans can be done for property developers, it will help to give them the required oxygen, the required strength, and the required motivation for them to complete, actually not even start new projects, but complete what they have on hand, and then get their act together, get the required liquidity, pay up their loans, pay up the banks whenever that falls due. And that will be a big, big, big favor. So these, I would say, are the two topmost priority things that need to be done. Otherwise, this industry is going to get into more and more trouble. As it was in trouble, like you said in your opening remarks. We are going to go more downhill. This is my only sincere request. And if you can make this voice heard, I'll really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm quite clear. I think this restructuring of loans makes eminent sense, because as it is, there are difficulties which the sector was experiencing. It was under strain. And now if you have several months of non-activity where projects are now, I know, for instance, some of the measures that the RBI governor announced, this lockdown period will not be counted towards the, some of those provision, moratorium, etc. already. So please send me a proposal on this. Also send me a specific suggestion or proposal on input credit on GST. Both these things we will examine in the ministry and very quickly forward. The first, both one to Finance Ministry, the other to GST Council, etc. But please send them quickly.
We will do that, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Ji, please.
Gitambar Sahab, I'll just would like to reply to Mr. Irfan.
Yes, sir.
That today, when the RBI governor made certain announcements, one of the important announcement was related to the date of commencement for commercial operations in respect of loan to the commercial real estate projects. Where, I mean, because of this COVID situation, already for the banks, it was allowed 1 year of extension was allowed without restructuring. Today, he announced 1 more year, and not 1 year, but 1 more year. So it means 2 years of extension is allowed. He also allowed this for NBFCs. If any loan has gone from the NBFCs, again for them 2 years have been announced. After his announcement, I talked to the NSB chairman, and he told me that the RBI is also considering for HFCs, Housing Finance Company. So HFCs also, it is very likely that such kind of 2 years of additional extension is going to come. So I think that restructuring
in New York and in a half hour
may not be required. Regarding this input tax credit, I think it was on the basis of demands which have come from CREDAI and NAREDCO. I mean, we had discussed it much at length that we go for a reduced tax. So that is how the decision was taken by the Ministry of Finance. This was a lot of persuasion, 1% and 5%. This came after leaving your ITC. Now again coming back with the ITC that is causing 18%. Maybe if you give us calculations, let me try to understand how this calculation is not favoring you, because earlier the calculation was favoring the real estate. So can we have this specific calculation? We can't be taking decisions. Different decision at different point of time. So let's have those details.
We'll give you, sir. We'll give you the calculations.
Okay. Now, मैं 2-3 बातें आप लोगों से सबसे करना चाह रहा था before we could close. सबसे important बात है कि इसमें कोविड के सिचुएशन, one, let me thank you. You have been very cooperative. आपने लोगों को इन सिटू रख करके उनको खिलाया पिलाया, उनका ध्यान रखा है, और अभी 20 अप्रैल से यानी मंडे से काम आप शुरू करने जा रहे हैं. तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि 20 अप्रैल से जो काम शुरू करें उसके बारे में हमारा SOP बिल्कुल क्लियर होना चाहिए. हर एक वर्कर को, जो भी वर्कर जिससे काम आप लेंगे, उनको बगैर मास्क के वो नहीं आएंगे. सैनिटाइज करने के बारे में, हाथ को चाहे साबुन से धोने को हो या सैनिटाइजर को यूज करने के, उसके बगैर वो काम नहीं करेंगे, लगातार करते रहेंगे. और उनको पहले ही से ही हमने आपको एक SOP नरेटको ने जो बनाया था वो आपसे शेयर किया था. आपसे भी रिक्वेस्ट किया था कि आप भी वैसा ही एक SOP बना लीजिए और हर एक अपने बिल्डर और डेवलपर जो कि अक्रॉस द कंट्री है उनके साथ शेयर कर लीजिए, बिकॉज दिस शुड बी फॉलोड स्ट्रिक्टली. अगर कोई मटेरियल बाहर से आ रहा है तो उस मटेरियल के बारे में उसको सैनिटाइज करने के या उसको भी क्वारंटाइन करने के कम से कम 24 आवर्स का क्वारंटीन होना चाहिए. आपको इन अगर आसपास थोड़े दूर से लोग आ रहे हैं तो गाड़ी का न प्रयोग करके पैदल आए, या उसको जो है दे शुड यूज द नॉन मोटराइज साइकिल है या स्कूटर है उसका प्रयोग करके लोग आए। तो ये जो तमाम सारे गाइडलाइंस है, आपको दो लोगों के बीच में मेंटेन हो, ये सारी गाइडलाइन आपको लोगों को बार बार बताना पड़ेगा और आपके लोग जाके देखें। अभी मैं कल एक सारे स्टेट्स के प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरीज के साथ एक वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस करूंगा, उसमें मैं बात करूंगा इन्फोर्स करने के लिए जगह जगह लोग जाके देखें इसका पालन हो रहा है कि नहीं पालन हो रहा है। क्योंकि ये जो मौका मिला दूसरे से काम शुरू करने का, इन्हें स्लो मैनर, इसको लेकर के आगे आउटब्रेक नहीं बढ़ना चाहिए, उसको लेकर के फर्दर इन्फेक्शन नहीं बढ़ना चाहिए। ये हम सबकी बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है और इस जिम्मेदारी को पालन करें। ये जो काम जो इंस्टीट्यूट अलाउ भी किया गया है, कंटेनमेंट एरिया में अलाउ नहीं किया गया। अगर कोई एरिया कंटेंट ऑलरेडी कंटेन की गई है, उस एरिया में काम नहीं होगा, इवन दो इंस्टीट्यूट आपका लेबर है। ये इसको भी आपको सुनिश्चित करने की जरूरत है। तो मैं आप सब लोगों से ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि कृपया इनोवेटिवली सोच समझ करके आप देख लिए क्या काम अभी करा सकते हैं, क्या काम आप अभी नहीं करा सकते। We have to go slow. We have to follow all the guidelines which have been issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare और guidelines issued by our Ministry of Home Affairs. ये दोनों की गाइडलाइन को समरी के तौर पे आपको एक एसओपी बना के दिया गया है और मैं कहूंगा कि इसके बेसिस पे छोटी फिल्म भी बना लीजिए ताकि फिल्म से लोगों को समझ में आ जाती बात, लोगों को साइड पे दिखाइए और देख करके लोग समझे। क्योंकि यू आर एट रिस्क, एवरी वर्कर इज एट रिस्क, बाहर से कोई आदमी आना जाना नहीं चाहिए। तो वो सब सारे के सारी चीजों लोगों के जहन में बैठ जाना चाहिए। अगर देश में इसके इन्फेक्शन को रोकना है तो हर जगह हर तरह स्तर पे कोऑपरेशन होना चाहिए। ये मैं चाहूंगा कि आपके सारे के सारे लोगों तक ये बात पहुंचे। जहां तक आरबीआई के गवर्नर साहब का जो अनाउंसमेंट था, मैं उसके बाद अपने एनएचबी के चेयरमैन से
I just want to
all these जो भी इसको एडवांटेजेस आपको लिक्विडिटी, वी आर गोइंग टू फॉलो दिस अप विद एनएचबी ताकि बैंक्स के माध्यम से आप तक जो लिक्विडिटी इंप्रूवमेंट करने के बारे में है, रेगुलेशन इंप्रूव कर, वो सारी की सारी चीजों का फायदा आप लोगों को मिलना चाहिए।
I just want to add one more point.
Sir.
ये दुर्गा जी प्लीज also request both CREDAI, FICCI, अभी आप इनको about that contact tracing app Arogya Setu. I think that's our best bet, especially when we've got resumed economic activity.
Absolutely, we've downloaded. Most of our members have already downloaded, sir. We've given it to our staff and to our members, so it's very aggressively being used by most of them.
गीतांबर साहब जो माननीय मंत्री जी ने भी कहा है, मंत्री जी ने, आपने तो कर लिया है, लेकिन हर एक वर्कर को, एवरी लेबर हु इज ऑन साइट, हर वर्कर को आप इसको आरोग्य सेतु जो ऐप है उसको डाउनलोड कर दें ताकि वो उनका भी जो है एक दूसरे से जो कांटेक्ट हो रहा है उस कांटेक्ट में उनको पता चले कि सामने कोई आदमी इन्फेक्टेड नहीं आएगा और इन्फेक्टेड है तो उससे वो अपने आप को बचा सकते हैं।
जरूर, बिल्कुल।
एंड काइंडली यूज द फैसिलिटीज ऑफ द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट। आपको लोगों को क्वारंटाइन करने के बारे में, थर्मल स्कैनिंग करने के बारे में, लोगों को हॉस्पिटल पहुंचाने के बारे में, ये सारी चीजें बहुत ही ग्रेसफुली होनी चाहिए।
जी।
And this becomes all the more important when you start and resume construction activity. Because उस समय देखिए लॉकडाउन रखने से ओवरऑल फिगर्स कम डाउन, बट एक बार लॉकडाउन लिफ्ट करेंगे थोड़ी सी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी के साथ भी मूवमेंट होगी और उस समय कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग विल बिकम क्रूशियल।
Absolutely, sir.
Gitambar ji, just one suggestion, one submission I have to make.
Yes,
on Honorable Secretary's recommendation, we have made this working manual in multi-language. So in Bengali, in Odia, in all Hindi, English, all the languages which are understood by the staff and the workers, and also the films in process. I think in a couple of days we'll
send it to you. So Mr. Ji,
मगर साहब, और साथ में आप छोटी सी फिल्म, मैंने आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट किया, एक छोटी सी फिल्म भी बनवा लीजिए, 1 मिनट का आधा मिनट का बना के, जिससे वर्कर्स उसको देखेंगे और उनको मालूम चलेगा। एक अभी जो साइट है एमएसएमई की साइट है आई गॉट, उसपे कई सारी फिल्में बना के पड़ी हुई है। आप जो फिल्म ऑलरेडी बनी है उसको भी यूज कर सकते हैं।
ठीक है सर, कर लीजिए।
Can we take last question?
Yeah, please go.
Mr. Murli from FICCI. Murli, can you ask a question from Sriram Properties?
Thank you, Minister. I would like to stress upon 2 points in continuation with what Irfan said. Sir, GST input credit, lifting that GST input credit has been the biggest denter for affordable housing. Cost of affordable housing has gone up by more than 15% just because of that. So I think
Murli,
it's
we can also put it like this, that when the scheme came, we had an option of either opting for an ITC scheme or going with a scheme without ITC. Should we say that we want that option again?
Yes, no, I mean, see, I was closely associated with, I was working closely with the minister at that point of time. I think, we should impress upon, again, GST. They'll be open to it. I think we should get this GST input credit passed on to all the projects. I think that will make a big difference. That's one, sir. The second one is we need to increase the demand. Probably, we should impress upon the state governments to reduce the stamp duty drastically. I don't think, we need to pay 8%, 9% stamp duty. At least our BJP ruled governments, state governments, we can bring down the stamp duty more than half, at least for the next 2 years' time for a limited period. That can increase the demand. Third one, on the ECB, we are sitting with about $460 billion of forex today. I don't think, which is yielding about 2% yield. So probably whether we can take the hedging cost, whether Government of India can absorb the hedging cost and allow affordable housing projects to be, eligible to avail ECB, where hedging cost can be picked up by the Government of India. I think these are the three ones. And sir, last to summarize, every crisis is an opportunity. Good leaders manage this crisis very well. Great leaders convert this crisis into opportunity. This is a time for us. Our great Prime Minister is doing a fantastic job. So real estate is one industry can push the economy on the ladder and can help the country to become great. So I think you are taking a good initiative, sir. Thank you. But we should go very aggressive is my humble opinion, sir. Humble submission.
Thank you very much. I think at least 2 of your 3 comment suggestions are relating to the finance ministry, whether we can use the reserves that we have, hedging, etc. But send us a para or 2 each on them, and I'm sure that my colleagues in the secretary and others, we will examine them with the finance ministry. But seriously speaking, issues relating to GST, issues relating to using that, the foreign exchange reserve, those are technically outside the remit of the ministry, but we will pass these suggestions on and we will follow up. But since we have another, I have back-to-back VCs other than also the group of ministers, I want to thank CREDAI and FICCI. Please treat this, as I said earlier, as not a one-time event, but as long as we don't get full flexibility of movement, let us do this more often, number one. I also want to once again thank you all, as I said in my opening, about individually and collectively what you have done, not only for the labor, the construction workers, etc., looking after them, and to providing shelter. My ministry has been doing. We've been providing 100,000 meals a day to people living in the homeless shelters. A lot of actions, but I don't want to take everybody's time. Thank you very much. I greatly value this interaction, and my senior colleagues, the secretary and the other senior officers, have taken careful note. We will follow up where I have requested you to send brief suggestions in as a follow-up to what you have said. Please do that quickly, and then I think we should tentatively agree to meet, let's say 10 days to 2 weeks from now, and to carry this discussion forward. By that time, we would have had some experience of how the calibrated lifting of restrictions after 20th April has worked. By that time also, we will have ideas on how we are going to move forward, and we will greatly value your suggestions on that. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Mishra ji. On behalf of both organizations, thank you very much. And like you said, we'll keep having these interactions. So it makes a huge difference to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.